Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey is going to be shown in theatres on February 15th in America. I'm not too sure about the UK. However, I got to check this out a little bit early. And after seeing the Mean one last year, is this movie any good? Is it better than the Mean one? Well, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, what's going on? My name's Mike and thank you so much for taking your own time out to click on this movie review right here. Press the red subscribe button down below if you are brand new, as I'd love to see you again on a future video, and I cover a lot of bad movies on the channel, including this one we're about to talk about. So Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey is directed by Rhys Frake-Waterfield, and he also writes this movie along with characters from the book by A.A. Milne. I really like a bad movie and horror, so when they announced this one, Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, I was certainly intrigued because it focuses on the story of Christopher Robin going away to college, and by doing that, he leaves Pooh Bear and Piglet behind, and they go on a rampage because he's left them for college. So pretty much like a simple plot here, and besides all that, I don't know any of the actors that are in here. Like, I've never seen any of their previous works before, but we have got here Paula Coys, Doig-Thorne, May Kelly, Natasha Rose Mills, Chris Cordell as Piglet, and Craig David Dowsett as Pooh Bear. And the cinematography is done by Vince Knight. So going into this movie, I had kind of no expectations whatsoever. The Mean one from last year, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it is a bad movie overall, but you can definitely get some laughs out of it. But when it comes to Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey, all I'm going to say to you guys is this. Expect some chuckles in there for sure, but it takes more of a serious approach to delivering the tone of the movie, which I was a little bit disappointed by. I'm not going to lie. I kind of wish I had kind of leaned into like the hawkiness and kind of like the camp version that this movie should have probably been, because all around, let's go into some positives here. I will praise the practical effects and the blood that is used here. They definitely have some kind of cool creativeness to an extent of the kills that are shown here, which I quite liked. I do also kind of admire the fact that they did kind of rip off Halloween in essence, with like Michael Myers and his tall stature and his kind of menacing stature. They use that for Pooh Bear, and I think Craig David Dowsett does that pretty well with probably the material that he's given, but he does pose as like a really tall, menacing kind of threat. So I will give them that. And also the use of the location setting here, especially with this being like an indie kind of budget movie, I felt like they used the practical settings here pretty well. At the end of the day, they probably had limitations of what they couldn't do, but for most part, Vince Knight also kind of captures the cinematography pretty well. There's some really nice shots here. There's some like longer take shots as well, and kind of like some shots you could probably use as like a wallpaper for your kind of computer or even your phone, you know. So definitely got to praise what they kind of tried to do and what the materials they had for this kind of movie. And that is kind of where my positives end, I'm not going to lie, because in terms of the negatives here, it's pretty much everything else. The acting, awful, guys. Yeah, like there's no likable characters in here at all. So by the end of it, you're like, okay, so I hope Pooh Bear and Piglet are just going to kind of like kill and slaughter the lot of them, you know? That's what you kind of want to see as the movie starts to progress. Yeah, there's no likable characters here at all. The acting is not great whatsoever. And there's some really weird editing and really weird decisions made in the script here as well. So just to give you a couple of examples without giving too many spoilers, there's one part that's in the trailer when Pooh Bear gets into a house. Now, just on the house, there's like a little upstairs. As you go up the upstairs, there's like a little balcony. So clearly, you know, like you can be seen. If you looked up the balcony, you could see someone there. So just as an example, Pooh Bear's looking out this window. There's two girls like hiding behind the balcony that's right here. And one girl's like, shh. But like, really loud, and I'm like, I'm sure Pooh could probably hear that, and he's going to come after you like any minute now. And then there's also a point here where Pooh Bear is presented as such like a dominant force, which is cool to see, don't get me wrong. There's one part where he even just slices an arm off, kind of leads into that kind of like hawkiness in a way. But then there's another part where he can't smash the windscreen glass of a car, and I'm like, well, you've just torn through bone. You just moved a car. How could you not smash a glass with like one hit if you're that powerful and that strong? It kind of didn't make sense. Definitely a lot of inaccuracies here, or just the writing, I guess, suffered in that department. And yeah, there's just some weird editing shots where there's like some just like cuts to black, and then it just, you know, there's something else that should have been happening in that scene, but it just cuts to black and then presents like the next scene instead of like just cutting from like that scene to like the next one in a way, or carrying that rest of that scene on and showing the rest of it. There's some weird choices like that in here, and there's also some music portions where you can just tell that they're trying to amp it up to be like really scary, and it just flat out isn't. It's kind of sad, being honest with you, that they kind of made that decision. Yeah, this movie, guys, I can't even say it's like it's so bad it's a good kind of movie, or you're going to get like a lot of chuckles out of this. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely something to be had here, for sure. But I wouldn't really say that this leans so much into that to have the chuckles. And another last thing I want to mention in terms of negatives is the ending's pretty bad. They kind of just cut. That's all I'm going to say, because again, I don't want to give the spoilers. It's not out yet. You haven't had a chance right to see this movie. This movie is definitely a miss for sure. Some cool practical stuff, as I mentioned before, but nothing else really like too redeeming besides that to kind of warrant this movie to be like a massive rewatchable movie. Nah, definitely not. So my overall score for Winnie-the-Pooh, Blood and Honey is a 2 out of 5 stars. So have you seen this movie? Are you going to go check it out in theatres? Or are you going to wait till streaming to check this one out? Leave any and all comments down below so we can continue the discussion down there. If you are going to put spoilers, please put just a title spoiler. Leave maybe a couple of lines, then put it, because I don't want to ruin this for anyone who's not seen the movie as of yet, and maybe are really excited to check it out. If you've enjoyed the video, however, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel, again, by pressing the red button down below, so I can see you again on a future video. Also, if you're unaware, I do have a Patreon. I have a couple of tiers you can select from, which starts from £2 per month, and these tiers do include like early videos, my release schedules, see what goes onto the channel. You can actually pick out movies for me to review. There's so much stuff to find out about my Patreon. The link is down below in the description box if you want to check out more, and I want to give a big special thank you to all my awesome Patreons who help support the channel. And thank you for watching this review right here, and until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.